Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, folks? JT here. It is Thursday, February the 12th, with another Chart Talk Live brought to you by Xtrades. Hope everybody is doing well this morning. Let me get over to our chat. Let me get my screen share going. Wait a second. That doesn't look right. Let's try this again. There we go. There we go. That's better. All right. What's up, Skater? What's up, Turtle Trader? LB, Navy Plum, 007, BGN. Good to see you all here. Appreciate you joining. All right. Let's dig in. Let's talk about what we're seeing in the markets. We'll go through some trade plan recaps. And of course, we will work on some new trade plans together here this morning. So, I hope you all are buckled up, ready to rock. So, what are we seeing here in the markets? In my opinion, we are seeing volatile chop and basically indecision. Um, we've been kind of in this range right here. We could even take this rectangle tool, kind of say, where this range right about here essentially is what we've been stuck in. Let me change that color of that so it sticks out. There we go. So, what are we fighting with? What are we dealing with? We've got this weekly supply zone overhead. We're having a real hard time fighting through that and getting much higher than where we've seen some of these tops taking place at. A little bit of a tiny push higher there, but really kind of candles ultimately rejecting that same prior high from Tuesday. 200 is slipping below the 333, but they're starting to flatten out or curl back up. This was in a bit of a downtrend there. That being said, the 333 was in a bit of an uptrend and it's starting to flatten out with this kind of sideways chop action. We are still above the bigger picture trend, which are these two lines right here. But again, we've got this weekly supply overhead. So lots of indecision, volatile, choppy. Yesterday, the chop was, volatile enough that it was actually tradable and I think was pretty profitable trading as well, versus what we saw on Tuesday, which was just kind of uh, what I would call sort of mindless chop. Like they're just not really following any technicals or anything. I mean, chop isn't abnormal, but I think that kind of chop and then these kind of weird, more volatile moves and then just back into a long period of chop was just a really kind of a weird trading day on Tuesday. So if you got shook out on some trades or had some issues on Tuesday, don't feel bad about it. It was just a very bizarre day. But yesterday we saw the kind of chop that we could actually trade and trade successfully. So I hope everybody did well with that. Big picture, I mean, in my opinion, over 70.38 is what we need to achieve for the markets to really regain some bullish momentum. Um, the levels that need to break for things to look pretty worrisome and that we're probably heading for a bigger picture corrective move keep getting closer to the current price as time goes on. So again, we'll keep our heads on a swivel. Not a whole lot has changed from last week. We are just kind of stuck in this sideways range. So I'd be watching it, anywhere from 70.10 all the way down to 69, call it 30. Um, inside that range, we look very choppy and potentially sideways. If we start breaking one way or the other, then I think things get a lot more interesting. So, just a quick take on the markets in general. Excuse me. Let's get to our trade plan recaps. Datadog, we did this one on Tuesday. Let's zoom into this a little bit closer. 4 hours isn't really going to show us how these moves are playing out. So yesterday we saw pre-market a break below, back testing and consolidation up against that put entry level. After hours, it kind of worked its way back over that, but clean rejection off the stop loss average down levels. That looks like a strong point to hold. Um, Again, if you're already in this, I would certainly give strong consideration to adding to my position. on another test at 131.57 level. Um, this one's looking kind of neutral to me. Yeah, and that kind of is what I'm talking about. So again, we've got some bullish components here on the chart, bullish momentum, bullish buying pressure underneath, but overhead inverted bearish SMAs and right on top of the price action. So, and that again, 131.57 looking even better as a good rejection point to try to maybe catch some opportunity to the downside off of it. So keep that on watch. So far, the Datadog plan opening up some room to the downside by the looks of it. In my opinion, just hasn't completed the move down to PT1 yet. GLW, Corning Glass. This one we did on Tuesday, but I forgot to mark it. There we go. This one's still stuck in our range, right? It's pulled back, held the put entry, pushed up, finding resistance there at the call entry. So this one's kind of just still in the range, looking like it might try to make a push to the upside. Overall, the chart's pretty bullish. Let's check this on the hourly as well. Yeah, kind of the same thing. So this Corning kind of looked GLW Corning kind of looking like it wants to make a push, in my opinion. Then hymns we also did on, I think this was on Tuesday's stream, right? Let's see. Or wait a second. Did I pull up an old trade plan? No, we didn't do hymns. Never mind. Did we only do 2 on Tuesday? I thought we did 3. Maybe I was wrong. Hang on, checking. Yeah, we did IGV. I probably just forgot to save it. Oh, no, I don't know what I clicked there to get to the hymns. Plan IGV. This one looking like it wants to give us a break to the downside. Did give us a push below the put entry there. Overall bearish on NTS, bearish selling pressure there, bearish momentum. SMA is kind of removed far overhead, but also heading to the downside. So I think what we're really looking for, and also looking like a bit of a bear flag here. So I think what we're really looking for is another break below 82.81. I think that next break does open up room to the downside, probably goes for that gap fill down to 79.51, and then we'll see how things play out from there. But IGV looking like it wants to make a push for that down, for some of these downside targets. And then from last Thursday's live stream, we did PayPal. PayPal did give us a break to the downside, caught PT1 and has since bounced from PT1, pushed toward the upside. Looked like it tried to give us a break there. Let's see what that looks like on some of these smaller time frames. Yeah, that looks like a pretty well confirmed break above back test. Looked like it wanted to push, but I think this bearish selling pressure was just a little bit too much. Never made it to PT1, and then yesterday dumped pretty hard, going straight into the open, and has since found support there at the put entry. But to me, it only looks like a matter of time before this breaks down and starts playing out some of these downside targets again. And then last but not least, FUBO. We did this one. This was an upside only trade plan, and never gave us the break to the upside. In fact, it has rejected and pushed lower. So FUBO looking like it's heading toward delisting. Excuse me. Delisting at this point. So with that being said, let's dig into some new trade plans. Let's get to work. Can I review LRCX? Sure. We had a trade plan on that fairly recently, didn't we? On the 3rd, so that would have been last Tuesday. Let me get this lined up here. All right, so LRCX again. We did this trade plan last Tuesday, broke down, gave us all the downside price targets, and then some. Had to get into some of this buying pressure that exists down here between the 200 and the 333. It has since pushed back above the put entry, but still has some key selling pressure right overhead. We had some trouble rejected near that yesterday that held us underneath that put entry level going through end of day, but now we've gapped up above, trying to flip that to support. So looks like it might push, but at the very least, it needs to get over 242.92 to really look interesting for upside to me. But again, all downside targets achieved and then some. Definitely has a bit of an uptrend working here too. A new one. At least it looks like it does. Yeah, right there. So it's got a pretty strong uptrend, but definitely coming up to an inflection point. Might also be heading for a back test of this uptrend that it broke down from recently, creating this ascending wedge pattern. And a lot of times these ascending wedges break to the downside. So just something to keep in mind. But again, over 242.92, I think it looks bullish. I think it looks like it has room down to 237.31, or I'm sorry, 232 if we break below 237.31. But below 232, I think downside probably could open up significantly. So that's my quick recap of Lamb research for you there, LB. All right, so what new trade plans do we want to work on this morning, folks? Get what's up, Daily Bull. Good morning to you. What's up, Hollow Out? Good to see you, Kimberly. Welcome. You look like a new attendee, so good to see you here in the mix. What's up, Samp? Those who have joined since we started. All right, what tickers do you guys want me to take a look at this morning? Let's get to work on some trade plans and some technical analysis. Fail. Good volume on it. Hmm. So kind of in the metals. Interesting. Ah, Brazilian. Oh, okay. I think I know. I think I remember this name from way, way, way back in the day. All right, let's take a look at it. I want to hide up here for just a minute. I don't think I've ever really. Well, I have. And my lines are all over the place. Well, I don't even remember what I was doing back then. So let's start from scratch. Microsoft. Okay, we'll take a look at that for you, Turtle Trader. That's okay. I like a good challenge. All right, let's see what we got. This is an interesting, that's all-time highs right there. Oh no. Interesting resistance around this level though. I want to take a look at this back here, see if that tracks to an established level. Not really. All right, we'll leave that one kind of on watch. Attention to it on the weekly chart here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yeah, let's go to the daily chart. Let's see what we got here. LB, you said this one moves kind of slow, right? That make big volatile moves. I'm just thinking of if we even need to look at hourly and stuff like that. For things that move slower, I tend to just focus on higher time frame levels. Okay, yeah, that's pretty slow. All right, cool. So Let's take a look at this. I mean, it's looking super strong here on the higher time frames. That strength continues to show. So a little bit of a gap down. Flip that back to the bearish side, but that could be pretty temporary. Yeah, see, it's already back on the bullish side here on the hourly. Just barely flipped it there. 200, 333 coming up underneath. Interesting prior high that it looks like it's trying to flip to support here pre-market. Let's take a look at this level real quick. And just for a sec. All right, so how do we want to trade this? All right, I'm going to take a kind of a different approach here because I think we are essentially at a good buy level already here pre-market. So in this case, what I would say is as long as we're holding above 1731 and preferably if we get a little bit of a back test pre-market, or sorry, right near market open, that would be good. Oh, they do? Oh. That changes things a bit. Oh, yeah, they do. Okay, well, maybe not the worst one to take a shot with shares. I would definitely avoid options with how slow it moves, according to LB, and the fact that it has earnings today. Shares could be an interesting play on this, nonetheless. Obviously, high risk with ER today. Oops, I think this weekly level's a little bit lower now that I can dial in here. It's sitting right there. That makes for a good stop loss average down. Gosh, dang it. I think this is a good first price target. So then yeah, I'd be surprised if this is going to be kind of a different ER, I'm sure, with it being a. God dang it, man. I got the itchy trigger finger over there. good. Final target. Could push up to close to this 1943 level. It's probably sitting right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so again, as long as we're holding over 1731, I think this looks good for upside. The downside, where does it become a potential short candidate? I'd say here below 1655. Potentially takes us down to 1599. $15.32 looking like really strong support. All right, that's the trade plan. Let's go. Yeah. Your Veil live stream plan. All right, so what are we looking for here on Veil? As long as it's holding over 1731, I like this for a long stock position to the upside with earnings report after hour this evening. So over 1731, I'd be looking for 1794, 1854, and 1894 with a stop loss average down at 1688. To the downside, I'd be looking for a break below 1655. That should bring targets at 1599, 1560, and 1532 with a shared stop loss average down there at 1688. Those are your Veil live stream plans. Let's go get it. All right, I know I had Microsoft next. Microsoft losing that. It was kind of a hypothetical trend line there. Flipping some things bearish. Seems like it's struggling to hold back over 406.82, which is weekly resistance at this point. Interesting downtrend to watch. Very weak break of that supply zone there. I wonder. Actually, you know what? I think that creates a new one. That's what it looks like to me. So let's put that in place. I want to know what that is. All right. Just wondering if there's any good windows of opportunity that take us up into that supply zone. Let's take a look at this level. That's not helpful. Yeah, right about here. Okay, I can see how we can work this out potentially. Yeah, this could be a tricky one to trade to the upside, so just be mindful of that. But I think that's the best window of opportunity. I think it really gets interesting if Microsoft can clear back over 426.17. Then it could really make a push. Probably actually pushes up. Yeah, I'm going to change this PT3 based on what we're seeing here, more recent price action. Or a 1. Yeah, I'd still want to wait for this 399.84 level to be out of the way. Below that, yeah, it's a little level right there. Yeah, maybe just a little bit lower. All right. I think we can tighten up this stop loss. I'll need to share it with that upside trade plan. Come on, where were they at? There we go. Yep, that's right about what I wanted to see. All right, here we go. Microsoft trade plan coming at you. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. There we go. That makes more sense. All right, let's up real quick. Right, your Microsoft live stream plan. Let's go. And before I forget, let's save our template. All right, cool. So what are we looking for here on Microsoft? We're looking for it to, excuse me, break over for 1104. That should bring price targets at 417.65, 426.17, and potentially all the way up to 439.55, with a stop loss averaged out at 406.82. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 399.84. That should bring price targets at 393.32, 388.60, and 381.25, with a stop loss average down at 405.27. Those are your Microsoft live stream plans. Let's go. All right, what do we have next? Hood or PLTR? Do you have a preference between those, Daily Bull? If not, I'll just pick one. Okay, PLTR. Let's go. Whole bunch of old fib extensions in this range. Definitely a chart I need to go back and clean up for sure. It's been a while since I've looked at Palantir. Nice bounce off the 333 there. The daily chart. Hmm. Yeah, okay. Hmm. That's some wild price action right there. Okay, yeah, I like all that. That's good. Let's dial in here a little bit. Find the stop loss for this upside trade plan. Slight adjustment to this level. Put it right there. Yep. All right. So that's the upside. Downside. Hmm. Wonder if we have a bit of a it's kind of iffy. It's there, maybe. All right, so or break below this level right here. If that does take place for our first PT. Stop loss right here. Down to this weekly support that it caught really nicely after that ER sell off. All right. Six. There we go. Looks better. All right. Let's get this lined up for a nice photo op here. trend line a little bit. Yep, that looks good. All right. Cool. Let's go with it. Bro. Here comes your PLTR live stream plan. And let's create some alerts. Now I want to do this hourly. Cool, cool, cool. And then last but not least, before I forget, all right, so what are we looking for here on PLTR? Let me move this over. We are looking for a break above 140.32 that should open up room to the upside up to 145.25 and then on up to 149.42. An ultimate price target at 156.34 with a stop loss average down at 137.78. To the downside, we're looking for a break below 134.66 that should bring price targets at 132.25, 128.70, and 125.06 with a stop loss average down at 136.86. All right, folks, we are getting close to 10 minutes out from market open. I do need to go get the SPY plan put together for today, so I'm going to go get to work on that. I want to thank you all so much for joining me this morning. I do appreciate it. We will be back next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, I wish you all excellent trading. As we always say here on Chart Talk Live, plan your trades, trade your plans. Remember to keep those wins big, keep those losses small, because we're looking for profits, not perfection. Go out there and get some green. I will see you all in the chats, and I will see you back here next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, take care. Have a fantastic day.